This rifle can put a round through a helmet at 800 yards, and this one is still running ammo designed for the Mosin Nagant. You see, when it comes to designated marksman rifles, most militaries are playing copycat, slapping their flag on proven designs and calling it innovation. To find out who actually has the best, we have to rank them from the overhyped junk to the absolute best. We start our countdown with the SVDM from Russia, the Dragunov. That iconic Russian silhouette has been around since the 1960s, and the SVDM is basically the Kalashnikov Group's attempt to polish a Cold War relic into something moderately competitive. Spoiler alert, you can only polish a turd so much. Let's start with the obvious problem, the 7.62R cartridge. That R stands for rimmed, a design feature dating back to 1891, when your great-great-grandfather was learning to ride a horse. Rimmed cartridges mean curved magazines, which means you're stuck with 10-round capacity while NATO guys are rocking 20 or 25. And yes, those curved mags are also a nightmare to carry in pouches. The SVDM does try to modernize. They shortened the barrel from 24.4 inches to 21.7 inches, so you can actually maneuver inside a BMP without clubbing your battle buddy. The barrel is thicker too, better heat dissipation when you're mag dumping at Ukrainians. At 11.7 pounds loaded, it's heavy, all that milled steel receiver mass trying to keep the violent bolt carrier group from shaking the rifle apart. Side-folding stock is borrowed from the paratrooper model, collapsing from 45.5 inches down to 34.4 inches for vehicle transport. The real modernization attempt is the redesigned receiver cover with an integrated Picatinny rail for Western optics. Except there's a problem. That cover is removable. Every time you field strip this thing, you're potentially losing zero. Brilliant engineering there, comrades. The 1P88-4 variable scope replaced the old fixed 4xP SO1, and the gas regulator adjusts for everything from Arctic frost to desert dust. The SVDM is tough. It'll run when covered in mud and hate. But accuracy? It's an accurized battle implement, not a precision rifle. No free-floating barrel, no match trigger, just Soviet reliability masquerading as modern capability. Placing it at number 10 feels generous. Now, Russia's marksman rifle story doesn't end here. They also field the classic SVD Dragunov and the newer SV Chukavin. Coming next is China's QBU-191. The Chinese military spent decades running around with bullpup rifles and Soviet rip-offs before someone finally admitted that maybe, just maybe, conventional layouts work better. The QBU is their answer to that reality check, ditching the weird space gun ergonomics of the QBU-88 for something that actually fits human shoulders properly. But here is the problem. While everyone else on this list is slinging full-power 7.62 NATO rounds, China is still committed to their proprietary 58x42mm cartridge. Sure, they developed a heavy-grain DBP-191 loading specifically for this rifle, but physics doesn't care about national pride. That little bullet just doesn't have the mass or energy to punch through barriers or buck wind like the big boys once you're past 650 yards. Now here's what's interesting. The rifle itself is actually pretty slick. At 7.5 pounds unloaded, it's the lightweight champion of designated marksman rifles, achieved by building the receivers from aluminum alloys and polymers. The 21.7-inch barrel is noticeably longer than the standard infantry carbine's 14.5 inches, desperately trying to squeeze every bit of velocity from that small caliber. Short-stroke gas piston keeps it running across China's diverse terrain, from frozen mountains to humid jungles. The real upgrade is the QMK-191 scope, offering 3x to 8.6x magnification. Finally, ditching those fixed power optics shows China is at least catching up to modern doctrine. The rifle feeds from 30-round magazines, same as the infantry rifle, which means logistics are simple and you've got volume of fire for days. But let's be honest, the QBU is basically an accurized assault rifle, not a purpose-built precision weapon. When you're trying to reach out to 800 meters, that 5.8mm round is running on fumes while everyone else is still supersonic. It's 9th place for a reason, even if the engineering is solid. China's also got the bullpup QBU-88 still kicking around. but that weird ergonomic experiment is exactly what the 191 was designed to replace. Number 8 brings us to the CZ Bren 2 PPS. The Czechs looked at their dusty old Soviet Dragunov rifles and decided enough was enough. Time to join NATO properly and get a rifle that uses actual NATO ammunition. Enter the Bren 2 PPS, which is basically their excellent Bren 2 assault rifle that hit the gym and bulked up to 7.62 netto. Switching from the Soviet 7.62R rimmed cartridge to rimless 7.62 netto might sound boring, but it's actually huge. No more curved magazines that barely fit in pouches. No more hunting for rare ammo. Just standard match-grade netto rounds that actually feed reliably from 25-round polymer mags. That's 150% more capacity than the old Dragunov, turning the designated marksman into a legitimate base of fire element when needed. And this matters. The 18-inch barrel hits that sweet spot between ballistic performance and not being an awkward pole in tight spaces. At 10.1 pounds, it manages to stay relatively light thanks to a 7075 T6 aluminum upper receiver and carbon fiber reinforced polymer lower. The cold hammer-forged barrel is chrome-plated and rated for over 20,000 rounds, meaning this rifle will outlast most soldiers' entire careers. Short-stroke gas piston with a 3-position regulator keeps everything running clean. No carbon buildup in the receiver like those direct impingement systems. The rifle is completely ambidextrous too, safety selectors and mag releases on both sides, charging handle swaps to either side, and doubles as a forward assist. Czech Special Forces love pairing it with Night Force or Steiner optics on that full-length top rail. The Bren 2 PPS is an upscaled assault rifle, not a dedicated precision chassis. Accurate, reliable, ergonomic, but not quite hitting those sub-MOA groups the purpose-built platforms deliver. Still, it's a massive upgrade from Soviet-era equipment and proves Czech manufacturing still knows what's up. The Czechs also run HK 417, M110 SASS rifles, and yeah, the SVD Dragunov. Number 7 belongs to Finland's 7.62 KIV 23. Finland knows a thing or two about fighting in the cold, and this rifle proves they finally got tired of freezing their asses off with guns that turn into ice sculptures at -30 Celsius. When you've spent centuries dealing with Russian winters and invasion attempts, you tend to build weapons that actually work when the temperature drops to negative. The Sako M23 is basically what happens when Nordic engineers get tired of their rifles freezing up mid-battle. You see, Sako, the same company famous for making TRG bolt-action rifles that cost more than your car, took the AR-10 platform and completely re-engineered it for Arctic warfare. They gave it a short-stroke gas piston system with special tolerances and coatings so the thing actually cycles when normal gun oil turns into frozen sludge. The 16-inch barrel version weighs around 9 pounds, perfect for soldiers zipping around on ski-mobiles through snow-covered forests. Here's where it gets interesting. The rifle comes with different barrel lengths depending on your job. Designated marksmen get the 16-inch model that reaches out to 600 meters, while snipers get an 18 to 20-inch variant stretching to 800 meters. Both feed from 20-round polymer magazines and typically rock a Trigicon VCOG 1 to 6 times scope because you need to see your target before hypothermia sets in. The free-floating barrel sits inside an M-lock handguard so you can slap on bipods and thermal optics without messing up your accuracy. Finns learned the hard way during their wars that when your rifle doesn't shoot when you need it to, you end up learning Russian real quick. The KIV-23 lands at 7, mostly because it's brand new, still being rolled out across Finnish forces. But knowing Sako's reputation for building sub-MOA precision rifles, this gas gun probably shoots tighter groups than most custom civilian builds. When the Russians come knocking again, Finland will be ready, and their rifles definitely won't jam. Number 6 is the Barrett Rec 10 from Israel. Israel doesn't mess around when it comes to choosing weapons. The IDF looked at urban combat in places like Gaza and realized they needed something that could go from room clearing to precision shots in the same breath. They picked the Barrett Rec 10, a 7.62 Netto rifle that prioritizes being light and fast over maximum range. The Israeli version usually has a 16-inch barrel. You're giving up some long-range velocity compared to 20-inch barrels, but you can actually move through doorways and tight spaces without your rifle catching on everything. At about 9 pounds unloaded, it's noticeably lighter than piston guns like the HK 417 because it runs direct impingement, no heavy piston parts. That direct impingement system gives you a smoother recoil impulse, less of a sharp punch and more of a push. And that's the key. When you're engaging multiple moving targets in chaotic urban fighting, those fast follow-up shots matter. Built with billet 7075 T6 aluminum receivers for rigidity and accuracy, the slimline M-LOK handguard lets you mount IR lasers, lights and bipods without turning the rifle into a boat anchor or shifting your point of impact. The suppressor compatibility is huge. The system is tuned to run reliably with a can, which is critical for special ops raids where you need to keep noise down and maintain unit coordination. Feeds from standard 20-round SR-25 mags, so logistics are easy. The IDF has a special relationship with Barrett. They also run the MRAD sniper system, so the build quality is premium. But here's the trade-off. The Rec 10 direct impingement needs more maintenance in Middle Eastern dust compared to piston systems. That 16-inch barrel also limits you past 800 yards, where the top rifles shine. For Israeli units like Yamam operating in dense urban environments, the lightweight handling and suppressed capability are perfect. But it's optimized for a specific mission set, not being the best at everything. Israel also fields the homegrown IWI Arad STAR-21 and Knights SR-25. At number 5 we have the FN Scar HPR from France. The French looked at their aging bolt-action FRF2 rifles and decided it was time to drag their designated marksman into the 21st century. They didn't just want accuracy though, they wanted something that could take a beating in the Sahel, work in urban combat, and still deliver precision at 800 meters. Enter the Scar HPR. That 20-inch barrel is the longest in the Western DMR class, and length matters when you're trying to extract maximum velocity from 7.62 Netto. More velocity means your bullet stays supersonic longer, fragments better on impact, and generally ruins someone's day more effectively. The rifle weighs 9.9 pounds without accessories, surprisingly manageable considering all that barrel hanging off the front. FN Herstal built this thing on their legendary Scar action with short-stroke gas piston operation. The system is famous for running dirty. Sand, mud, water, it just keeps cycling. Endurance tests show it outlasting direct impingement rifles by ridiculous margins. The PR variant gets upgrades the standard Scar H doesn't. Longer, rigid rail extension for mounting night vision in line, and a 2-stage match trigger that breaks crisp instead of that gritty mil-spec pull. Side-folding stock is fully adjustable for length and cheek height, letting the long rifle compact down for helicopters and vehicles. Smart logistics there. French forces pair it with Schmidt and Bender 1:8x24 PM2 dual short dot scopes, functioning as a red dot at 1x for close quarters and precision scope at 8x for distance. One optic, dual rolls, perfect for designated marksmen who might clear buildings then engage at 800 meters. But here is a problem. That reciprocating charging handle is kind of a design flaw. It moves with every shot and can malfunction if something blocks it. The heavy bolt carrier group also gives distinct recoil, but proven track record, that 20-inch barrel advantage and FN reliability keep it competitive among the best. France also runs HK 417, the G28, MSG 90 and Knights SR-25 across different units. Number 4 is the pride of the British Army, the L129A2 Sharpshooter 2. Britain went absolutely mental with this one. While everyone else is still arguing about 7.62 Netto versus staying with it, the UK said screw it and became the first major military to adopt 6.5 Creedmoor for their designated marksmen. The ballistic advantages are genuinely stupid good. The original M110A1 in 7.62 was an emergency purchase during Afghanistan when they realized Taliban fighters were engaging British troops beyond the range of their 5.56 rifles. The A2 variant takes that proven platform and rechambered it for 6.5 Creedmoor, fundamentally changing what an infantry squad can do. That 18-inch stainless barrel with 1:8 twist is optimized specifically for this cartridge, delivering 30 to 40% less wind drift and flatter trajectory compared to 7.62 Netto. Lewis Machine & Tool manufactures this beast using their monolithic rail platform milled from a single aluminium block. No flex, no zero shift, absolute rigidity for optics. The barrel is user-changeable in the field with a torque wrench. Logistics people love that feature. But let's address the elephant. 16 pounds, fully kitted with optic and suppressor. Yeah, it's heavy. That weight serves a purpose though, soaking up recoil, helping shooters spot their own shots. The Huxworks QD762 suppressor comes standard, using flow-through technology to handle the high-pressure 6.5 Creedmoor without reliability issues. Leupold Mark V HD 3.6 to 18x44 scope provides magnification to actually exploit that extended range, and pixels on target thermal sight means British sharpshooters own the night. Fourth place, and honestly could be higher based purely on ballistics. At 1,000 meters, the A2 is the superior hit probability machine on this entire list. But logistics are complicated when you're introducing a new caliber into a 7.62 Netto world, and that weight is genuinely punishing during long patrols. Raw performance versus practical considerations. The UK still fields the original L129A1 in 7.62 Netto, HK 417, and the outdated L86A2. Taking the bronze medal is Canada with the Colt C20 DMR. Canadians are polite until they're not. Then they build rifles that embarrass most bolt guns. The C20 DMR is Colt Canada taking their proven C7 and C8 family and engineering it for extreme accuracy. We're talking 0.66 MOA with match-grade ammunition. That's sub-MOA performance from a semi-automatic gas gun. Absolutely wild. The 18-inch cold hammer-forged barrel with 1 in 10 twist is the heart of this precision. At 9.1 pounds unloaded, it's manageable for infantry, but substantial enough to dampen recoil. Direct impingement gas system, refined by Colt Canada to be smooth as butter, lets shooters spot their own bullet trace and impacts. That feedback loop is critical when you're operating without a spotter. The monolithic upper receiver is where the magic happens. Handguard and receiver forged as one piece of aluminum means the optic rail and barrel nut are perfectly aligned and rigid. Zero handguard flex, zero loosening issues, zero shift. Other rifles with two-piece designs can't match this consistency. The OSS flow-through suppressor vents gases forward, preventing that awful gas blowback in your face that direct impingement guns typically suffer when suppressed. LMT DMR adjustable stock and Geisley SSA dual-stage trigger give shooters customized ergonomics and that crisp glass break trigger pull. Feeds from 20-round steel magazines. Schmidt & Bender 3 to 20x50 ultra-short scope is standard issue, suggesting Canadian doctrine heavily emphasizes the longer end of DMR ranges, 800 meters and beyond, taking full advantage of that ridiculous accuracy. While accuracy is world-class, production numbers are limited and costs are high. It's a specialized tool, not mass-issued like some competitors. Still chambered in 7.62 Netto too, missing out on the ballistic advantages of 6.5 Creedmoor found higher up. But for pure precision from a gas gun, few rifles compete. Canada also uses accurized C7CT and C8CT variants, plus Armalite AR-10T and HK417. In second place, we have the German G28. German over-engineering at its absolute finest and most ridiculous. The G28 set the modern standard for military precision rifles by prioritizing mechanical accuracy and durability above literally everything else, including common sense regarding weight. The Bundeswehr wanted a DMR capable of precision suppression. Heckler & Koch delivered a rifle that weighs more than some belt-fed machine guns. Steel upper receiver, not aluminum like everyone else, actual steel. Provides incredible rigidity for barrel and optic mounting, contributing to guaranteed 1.5 MOA accuracy with standard ammunition and sub-MOA with match rounds. The 16.5-inch hammer-forged chrome-lined barrel balances harmonic stiffness with maneuverability, though the system weighs a crushing 16.8 pounds in standard configuration with the full steel rail and Schmidt & Bender 3-20x50 scope. Here's the thing though, that absurd weight serves a doctrinal purpose. It virtually eliminates recoil. Shooters observe their own bullet trace through the scope and fire rapid follow-up shots with zero muzzle rise. The rifle becomes a laser beam of suppressive precision. HK's short-stroke gas piston runs clean and cool even during sustained fire, critical when doubling as a support weapon. Germany offers two configurations, standard with that 3-20 scope for overwatch roles, and patrol with lighter handguard and 1-8x optic, dropping weight to 13 to 14 pounds for mobile operations. Toolless adjustable gas regulator for suppressor use, slightly translucent polymer magazines for instant round count checks. The G28 is the gold standard of over-engineering, indestructible, hyper-accurate, utterly reliable. But that excessive weight is a significant tactical liability, preventing it from taking number one. The irony? That flaw led directly to the development of the rifle that beat it. Germany's portfolio is no joke. They field the HK G27, the G210, and G3A3Z SDMR variants. The gold medal goes to the United States with M110A1 SDMR. The Americans looked at the German G28, loved the accuracy and reliability, then told Heckler & Koch to put it on a diet. The M110A1 squad-designated marksman rifle is what happens when you take German engineering perfection and apply practical American infantry doctrine to it. The result is the most balanced, effective, widely fielded DMR in the world. The Army's compact semi-automatic sniper system program wanted to replace the older, longer, heavier M110 semi-automatic sniper system with something more compact and reliable. HK delivered the G28's precision but swapped that heavy steel upper receiver for aluminium, dropping unloaded weight to 9.15 pounds, nearly half the weight of the German standard configuration, while maintaining that same legendary accuracy. The 16.3-inch barrel is the sweet spot for handling and harmonics without sacrificing terminal ballistics out to 800 meters. Same ultra-reliable short-stroke gas piston as the G28, running cool and clean after thousands of rounds. Massive reliability upgrade over the direct impingement M110 semi-automatic sniper system that struggled in foul conditions. But the system nature is what really sets this apart. Complete kit with Sig Sauer Tango 6T 1-6x24mm LPVO, true 1x for room clearing and 6x for point targets. Perfect for squad-level doctrine where marksmen move with fire teams. OSS ELQD 762 suppressor comes standard, permanently mounted in many configurations. Flow-through design reduces signature without increasing back pressure or bolt speed, maintaining durability and preventing gas blowback. Geisley M-Lock rail is lighter and more ergonomic than old quad rails. Highly adjustable stock completes the package. Number 1, because it's the Goldilocks solution. HK 417 piston reliability, G28 accuracy pedigree, but lightweight handling of a standard battle rifle. Modern optic and suppressor suite mass-issued to every infantry squad, democratizing precision fire across the entire US force structure. When you nail the balance between precision, reliability, and practicality, you get the best DMR in the world. The US infantry is stacked with beasts like the Mark 14 EBR, M38 SDMR, Mark 12 SPR, M39 EMR, and the older M110 SASS